Welcome, Half Bloods. We're your hosts, Scott and William, and
Yes, sir.
we have some beef with some fellow podcasters.
We're on their
Kelsey
level.
brothers. It's really just Jason Kelsey, actually. I feel like Travis is, from what I saw, was pretty agreeable, but Jason Kelsey, I think this is a couple weeks behind because that's what we do. But I believe he called out Hufflepuffs pretty hard, where he said Hufflepuffs are leftovers. He was offended that people thought he was a Hufflepuff, which I feel like really was where his hate was coming from. Hufflepuff's a bunch of leftovers, and he tried to create a narrative, and it's a false narrative. It's like half true, which is, that's how Satan works. I'm not saying he's Satan, but anyways, but his half truth is that Hufflepuff has had a rewrite post books. And he's not wrong. Like, the perception has changed of Hufflepuff, I feel like, post books, but this didn't happen post books. This happened post book one. Where like book one, book two, Hufflepuffs are just put in their place where they're like, yeah, we are just the leftovers. The Sorting Hat song comes on and it's like, I'll take the rest. And that's pretty sad. But then we get two more Sorting Hat songs. And that's not what the hat says. The hat says, I want the brave and the hardworking. Okay, the brave is still Gryffindor, but definitely uses the word hardworking. There's a lot of bravery in there.
Unafraid of toil.
Unafraid of toil. Thank you. Like I said, I didn't do all the research, but I knew you'd fill me up. Okay, I'm just going to list a few more points. Cedric Diggory, House Champion, over Angelina Johnson, the strong Gryffindors, brave, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't know who else entered. Some Slytherin scrubs entered as well. The ambitious Slytherins. Okay, they didn't get selected as the House Champion, did they? Then we get to the Hogwarts, Battle of Hogwarts, and after Gryffindor, who's the most there? It's not Ravenclaw, not those smarty pants who are ready to use their wits to fight Voldemort. It's Hufflepuffs because they're brave and they're strong. And Hufflepuffs are basically Gryffindors without the pride and the need to suck all of the energy out of the room, and everyone have to focus on them. So Hufflepuffs are awesome, and he's wrong.
Time out. 30-second timeout.
I'm listening.
1, you're triggered. Because you are a
Yes, I am.
You're very triggered right now. 1, I just want to compliment our fellow podcasters that are on our level that he actually did quote the book.
He did. But he quoted book one, and then he forgot.
Yes, he did.
The other 6 books.
But the fact that he quoted the book at all makes me respect him a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean, I got no problem with Jason Kelsey anyway. He's great. So
I will fight him.
Yeah, you will lose.
I didn't say I would beat him.
You can run away, maybe. His legs don't. I'm sure his knees are shot.
Yeah, neither do mine, so that's not good.
Well, but I was just happy he talked about Harry Potter at all. But too, he definitely actually quoted the book, and it just made me happy to hear him say he read the book and then he quoted something directly from the book and he wasn't referring to the movie at all. Right. 2, yes, it is a complete, noob take that
It's weak.
Hufflepuff's leftovers,
immature,
unwanted. Because yes, that is literally true that Hufflepuff was not really caught up in the whole lesson of Hufflepuff. Politics. Is that hey, I'm not really caught up in all this other stuff. I'll take anyone who wants to work hard and be a good person,
Exactly.
Who's not, like you said, is going to suck all the energy out of the room like Gryffindors are. So, and I always thought too, Hufflepuff is just it. How did that one line from the first book outweigh everything else? Because you did mention it is not. It's not specifically mentioned in the text that more Hufflepuff stayed than Gryffindors. That is true. A expanded universe.
No, that's specific. That is definitely specific.
Where does it say it in the
7th book? He's just Harry's looking around, and no, that's a fact. I will find it. That is from the pages. Okay, I'm obviously doubting. You know everything. I am a nothing. I just have a microphone.
It might be something
you
can infer. But it's not explicitly Harry noticed there was more Hufflepuffs than anyone else.
I'm never confident that I remember something differently than you. But I feel somewhat confident.
Well, regardless, it is true. It is true. It's factually true. And there's also a lot of other stuff. So it's just a lazy take. It's
It is. Based off
people
one
who aren't
sentence.
like, they're not hip to the Harry Potter world,
No.
because there's so much evidence of like, if Gryffindor, if Hufflepuffs were not that important, like, why would Cedric Diggory? I mean, look, he might be, unique, right? But put some respect on the Hufflepuff's name. Like, they're great. They're probably the one you would want your kid to be in the most. Like, if you're like, hey, what do I want my
Yes.
kid to grow up to be? Do I want him to be like one of those three or the Hufflepuff one? The Hufflepuff one, right?
Well said.
Also, I just want to make an argument for one. Obviously, Slytherin's the worst. They're all a bunch of racist pieces of crap. Like, that's it. Like,
Agreed.
they all, not one stayed at the battle. Even like their
Well, Draco and Crab and Goyle stayed, so I don't know.
well, to fight on the good side. Nobody stayed to fight on the good side. Even though Snape might be the bravest person in the book, he's still a bad guy. He's not nice. He's not a good guy.
Very bad guy.
Yeah, not a
If
nice
he-
person in the slightest.
he was my
bullies
daughter's
children
teacher-
constantly.
If he
Yeah.
was my daughter's teacher, I would fight him as well.
Yeah, you would fight him. I mean, like, you'd probably lose if he has a wand.
Again,
but if he didn't
I
have a
would
wand,
lose.
you would definitely win.
Second fight, I'm losing this podcast.
But you're right about that. But the point is that like everyone else is like categorized by like brave, bold, like, and if you're not that, what are you? Right. Well, Ravenclaws, they're the worst ones in this because like they're all basically just smart, allegedly.
Yeah,
But also
it's
the
what
smartest
they
people we ever hear in the whole book, neither of them are Ravenclaw.
Exactly.
The three smartest people, four smartest people, 5, 6, like every smart person we know of, none of them are Ravenclaw.
Not Ravenclaw.
They talk about like,
Ravenclaw.
think about like, even the Marauders themselves, right? Like James and Sirius were like super geniuses. Hermione's a genius.
So yeah, who's your top 5? I mean, you're going Dumbledore,
Voldemort, and then we
Snape?
have, probably
Hermione?
Snape.
Snape, Hermione, like
I mean, it's impossible to say. Like, I imagine that like Snape is definitely next on that, like, most intelligent or whatever. It's just
couldn't take James
misapplied in this
Potter
game.
though.
And then like James and Sirius and Hermione are probably around the same. We just know way more about Hermione, so we'll put her ahead, right? Because we
Right.
know way more about Hermione than the others. And obviously she tries way harder than they ever did.
Ravenclaws value knowledge more than anything, but that doesn't mean they're smarter than everyone. They just put more value on being smart. Are they smarter than everyone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. So I just feel like it's really funny that like they are the ones who are like, they even say that when Hermione like shows them she does a protean charm, and they're like, brains like yours, you should have been in Ravenclaw. She's like, well, the thought about it, but they decided on Gryffindor in the end, right? And then like, isn't Harold Dingle a Ravenclaw, right? And he's trying to sell like powdered dragon claw, right?
Didn't
and
we
like,
just deduce that he's a Ravenclaw? Is he for sure in Ravenclaw?
yeah, you're right. I don't know.
This is our second question we got to follow up on.
Right. But I'm just saying, Ravenclaw is very overrated. It's incredibly overrated. I feel like they're just cooler than, I don't know.
They think they're cooler. They're the Ivy
They
League.
think they're cooler.
I don't know. They got in because
But all the smartest
they
people
wanted
we
to.
hear of are not.
They got in because they're rich.
Um,
And Ravenclaw got in because they want to, because they value it more, not because they are more. Anyways.
I will say this though. I always imagined that like every year there's the House Cup and the Quidditch Cup, right? Who do you think has the most Quidditch Cups? Who do you think has the most House Cups in Hogwarts history, right?
Is this a fact that gets... Oh, this is just a theory?
No, not a fact. I'm like, if you're Hogwarts is 1,000+ years old, right? So say there's been 1,000 of these things, right? Or the Quidditch timeline might not line up whenever Quidditch was invented. It doesn't matter, right? Like
True.
there's been there's been 500 Quidditch Cups at Hogwarts, whatever the number is, doesn't matter, right? How many has Hufflepuff won compared to how many has like Gryffindor has won, right? And my
Hufflepuff
guess,
probably in last.
yeah, my guess is that like Hufflepuff is like, I kind of want to say Indiana because like they just won, but like, but it wouldn't be that, right? They wouldn't be like, but they would be like a team that, you know, in the history of the NBA or something, like, you know, who's won like one championship, like, and it matters so much to them, like the Knicks, except they don't really hit the
They've
New
won
York
2,
vibe
but
at
yes,
all.
it's basically
They've
one.
won 2, yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like New York's won 2, but like they think they're way more important than they are. But Hufflepuff wouldn't think that. So like my point about this is that Gryffindor probably has the most. Slytherin probably has the Gryffindor. Who do you think? I would say Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and then Hufflepuff would be the order of Quidditch Cups.
I bet
So played.
Ravenclaw. I mean, I feel like Slytherin is
Ravenclaw would
probably
probably
neck
be
and neck with Gryffindor. I feel like they
I think
try. They care.
Gryffindor, Slytherin. Slytherin
Ravenclaw,
definitely would have cheated
Hufflepuff.
the most. I mean, and
Exactly.
like we discussed in last week in Quidditch through the ages, cheating is rampant.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't
Gryffindor
trying.
and Slytherin would definitely cheat the most. So it's you're right. It's probably Gryffindor. I would still bet Gryffindor is number one. They would have more than Slytherin, I would think.
The House Cup.
The House Cup,
Like-
I would definitely say Slytherin has the most House Cups. And then
that was all Quidditch. That's my bad. Okay, yeah. I have the same take. Yeah.
Yeah. House Cups, I would say Slytherin probably would have the most, then Ravenclaw, then Gryffindor, then Hufflepuff.
I bet it's pretty close. Like those top 3. I bet it's not a huge lead that Slytherin has. I bet it's pretty close, but I would go in that order.
Yeah, I just think it's funny though, because in my mind, like Hufflepuff, like, and it's not because they're not as talented. It's just like they don't care.
Well, okay, the House Cup. Like you get the closing banquet with your colors, and your teacher gets the trophy, and then it all restarts like the next day. Like I don't know. That's like literally describing sports. Like it's just you get a trophy, and then you have to all play the next season. But like
I know, but the House Cup wouldn't
isn't that
really
cool.
like. It's not that cool. It's not that cool.
It's
The
not that
Quidditch Cup
cool.
is obviously cool. Like the Quidditch Cup matters way
Yes,
more.
that matters. You can
Because like a part of that, part of what's built into the House Cup is like who's going to like suck up the most, almost, you know, that kind of stuff.
You need,
and that's
more
why I
reward.
don't think Gryffindor would have the most. I feel like they would have too many
prideful kids doing whatever they want.
You know, that kind of thing.
The House Cup needs like you get preferential like schedules next year, or like you know you get to pick the afternoon classes you can sleep in. Like you need an actual perk. There's no perk. It's just the colors on the last dinner are mine. Yay.
That's true.
That's all you got.
Unless, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think like it'd be like House Pride, which would matter a lot, right? But like it just matters so much less when there's sports that it's also there.
Exactly. Congratulations,
like
you won the you won the mathalon, and we won.
Yeah, it's like what do they do? Like you know how like they show it during like college football or basketball. They do like the university cups, like you know, like what teams have like the most wins. So like you know, like but like you know, they're like, oh, Ohio State's got the most points because like they're also good at women's hockey and like whatever other things, right? Or like, but like at the end of the day, like nobody gives a crap about whatever this made up. Like, hey, your athletic department is better than the rest. You know what they care about? Like, did you win? If you won the football championship, that's great. That's all Indiana cares about right now, right? Obviously, basketball is very important in Indiana, but like. If Indiana finished in like last place in some made up competition about like which school in the Big Ten has the most overall successful athletic program, would they care? Even like if they got last place in like every other sport, like they're terrible at gymnastics, they're terrible at swimming, they're terrible at whatever. They would not care at all. Nobody cares. They care about football, men's basketball, and at some schools, women's basketball. And then like at places like LSU, they definitely care about baseball. But guess who doesn't care about baseball? 99% of people.
America.
So, but hey, champs, LSU.
Way to be. We did 15 minutes on Hufflepuff and the House Cup.
I took it way off. Jason Kelsey is woefully uninformed about Hufflepuff. He's partially informed. he needs to do a closer reading. I would be happy to call him up and educate him
We
one-on-one
invite him on for a
tutoring
debate.
time, free of charge.
Yeah. Let's invite him on for a debate. Travis can come as well. He seemed again, his
Really
take
into
was
it.
leftovers are good. So glad he was
Wouldn't
there
he
for
be
that.
Hufflepuff just because he's like super happy and go lucky like Travis Kelce? Like, wouldn't he be Hufflepuff? Like, he's just kind of
Yeah.
like
He's
happy.
definitely not Aristotle, so he's not in Ravenclaw.
Yeah. Not Aristotle.
Married a Ravenclaw though, yeah. Or
Probably
engaged
so.
to.
Definitely engaged to
Right.
Ravenclaw for sure. Taylor Swift's got to be a Ravenclaw. I would
Agreed.
say he sounds like a Hufflepuff to me, just because he's super happy and he seems very
He's
loyal. And
It's like Cedric Diggory, is he not? He's just like a good athlete who's really happy and
Cedric Diggory was smart, really smart.
pretty hot.
Yeah. Cedric Diggory was a lot smarter.
You're right. Well, all right.
Congrats
We've
to Taylor
insulted the
Swift
Kelseys
on
enough.
bagging. Congrats to Taylor Swift on bagging a Hufflepuff. That's all I'm saying.
We did great. I thought that was going to be 4 minutes, and we quadrupled it. So I'm feeling great.
Yeah, as usual.
As always, you never cease to amaze. Let's dive into our big topic today, which is Tales of Beedle the Bard. This is part 3 of our Beyond the 7 books. Next week, we're going into several essays on daily life in the wizarding world and magical spells from HarryPotter.com. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be the first one that's not just a firm book that we're going through. But anyways, after Tales of Beedle the Bard, I have a lot of questions about ghosts that I have been wanting to ask you basically since we decided we were doing a podcast. And we've talked about these loosely, but I don't think I've asked you point blank all these questions. So I'm very excited for that. And it's going to be a great podcast.
Heck yeah.
Tales of Beedle the Bard was written in 2008, about a year and a half after Deathly Hallows came out. Tales of Beedle the Bard is, of course, another book that is in the Hogwarts universe. And it plays a very key part in book 7, where Hermione is bequeathed a version of Tales of Beedle the Bard in ancient runes from Dumbledore, and she spends a large part of the book translating it, and then learns about the Deathly Hallows and a whole lot of yada yada there. William, my question: why does anyone take ancient runes? Why does ancient runes exist? Who wrote in ancient runes? What are ancient runes? And why does a version of Beedle the Bard exist in ancient runes? Is that the original language of Beedle the Bard? I just don't understand ancient runes at all.
Well, I think, number one, the book in Hermione that Hermione had was not entirely written in runes. It had runes on it. Like, it was written in English so she could read it. But
I thought it was written in ancient runes.
I thought it was written in.
This is our third disagreement this podcast. This is unprecedented. I gotta write these down.
Have to look. But I mean, runes themselves are just like ancient alphabet. Like,
it was
Nordic
definitely in ancient runes, like
ancient German.
But the beginning of the Tales of Beedle the Bard that the Muggles get, it says, was translated by Hermione Granger from ancient runes. That's like what it says in the cover.
Yeah. I always read that. I mean, like, I know there's runes on there, right? Like, but like, I just don't imagine that like the stories themselves wouldn't be that old. Like,
that's
a lot of fairy tales wouldn't be as old as like, because like runes, like,
surely we were talking in English at this point,
right? So I think like,
that's why I'm asking.
I don't know. Runes, as I understand it, are like Scandinavian and like Nordic and Germanic, like old like alphabet basically. And like, I know they're using like witchcraft and they're associated with witchcraft, like in the WandaVision, Scarlet Witch.
Yes,
right?
True.
The runes.
True.
Right? But I would assume like there's like ancient magic and like
we know about ancient magic
and like
Hogwarts Legacy.
Just exactly those. So I feel like the rune stuff, it's like ancient and like tying to the past and like understanding like because a lot of like what uh old like magic would be very like nature oriented, so like tying to like the magic of the earth itself and like mother nature and things like that. So I assume that like ancient runes have some utility for like understanding magic at a deeper level that an idiot like Harry and Ron could never understand. But obviously Hermione could or attempt to, right? So like when Dumbledore goes to a place and he's like, it has known magic, right? Like
Right.
like there's probably something with runes that like help you understand like ancient spells and things like that, right? But the truth is that like none of this is explained to us.
Right.
And it's basically just like runes are a known thing that's associated with witchcraft. So she threw it in here, like ancient runes,
It's
right?
a class at the school for wizards and witches.
Right. So, it would be written in an ancient language. Um,
It's fair.
I guess the tales of the three, but the three brothers, like I said, the Peveril brothers would be way past the time anyone was using runes to write
Yeah,
anything down.
but to your point, it's like if it's a part of witchcraft, then like people are just carrying it on, Like, yeah, I speak English, but also I know my ancient runes. I mean, it's a class at
Yeah.
Hogwarts, which has been around for over 1,000 years. I assume that
Yeah.
class has always been there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they have to tap into like the nature of the earth or like something like that. That's what I would assume. But,
I dig
you
that.
know,
You did.
it always sounded cool though. Like the fact that like a smart person would study something like that, and morons like the heroes of our story, um, would not.
if if you can only pick 2 classes from the 5 electives, are you picking ancient runes?
Um,
I mean, I'm for sure going care of magical creatures. I don't care who the professor is, but I'm still doing
the
it, even though
magical
it seems
creatures would be really,
you have to do
that one
that.
would be
And
hard to
then
miss.
and then I feel like I'd do Muggle studies just so I could breeze through it and, get an easy A. I feel like those are my 2.
Um,
I definitely don't need divination. I don't need ancient
no,
runes.
I would,
Arithmancy, I don't know. I don't know.
one of those
I
things
don't know.
we know nothing about really, arithmancy, right?
Which I
I
assume
don't know.
is
Maybe you would,
math.
right? But they also say like, you know, being a healer required like um the study of ancient runes, didn't it? Um
That's crazy.
uh or like, Bill Weasley must use it, ancient runes.
True.
But
That's
it
fair.
also might be called something like ancient runes, but it doesn't specifically only mean like, ancient Egyptian wizards are not using a Germanic alphabet, right? Like
Yeah.
they're using something else, right? So you study more than just like specifically like what a rune was. Um, so it probably has like a more broad range. Like you'd be like, hey, we're studying Scandinavian ancient magic, we're studying Egyptian and African ancient magic,
Ooh, I like that.
Middle Eastern, Native American, maybe.
International. This is your international business degree.
Yeah. That would be
I
cool.
like that. They need
There'd be
that.
a lot there. But
Yeah.
yeah. But the
Okay.
Tales of Beetle the Bard.
We're at 25 minutes and still haven't hit Tales of Beetle the Bard, so I think we're doing great. Uh, the first story that we get is The Wizard and the Hopping Pot. And just very brief
Mhm.
overview. There's a good dad who helps all the muggles around him. He's a wizard and he uses his, magical pot to fix up all these remedies. And then he passes the pot to his son, and the son hates muggles and doesn't want to help anyone. But then when muggles come to his house and say, please help me with this ailment, and he says, no, the pot, then basically just piglets him into a corner and won't let him out. And uh, then starts to then starts to like have the symptoms that the people have, like a crying baby won't go to sleep and the pot just starts crying. And anyways, finally the guy goes insane and then starts helping all his neighbors, and then a little slipper hops out of the pot and he puts the slipper on the pot, and then it stops making all this noise, and then he always helps people, and the pot never freaks out again. So the moral of that is like, be a good person and help those
Right.
around you, right? And like
Be
Dumbledore like
kind.
uses the words like a good father awakened his son's conscience. I feel like that's not what happened at all. I feel like this kid was just blackmailed like into insanity, and then was forced to be a good person. And he has no conscience at all. Like he just point blank refused to lift a finger to help a human being around him, and then finally was driven insane because he couldn't eat and he couldn't sleep, and he finally helped everyone. I don't think this is a good moral at all, personally.
Okay, but you're looking at it as if it's true.
Yes,
as
I
if
am.
it's a true story. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's myth.
Okay, I think it misses the
So-
point. I also want to know: did the pot do the same thing to the
So,
father?
well,
Is
the
father
point
actually a good
is
man?
that the
Or-
point is just like, don't be like this guy. He's terrible. You're going to go insane, and you should help people. I think it's pretty effective.
I didn't think it was very. I did a superlative.
You're like
for each of
Drax.
these.
Everything's like literal.
No, everything's not literal. And my superlative for this one was the one most likely to miss the mark. I just feel like this one misses the mark. Okay, and I don't know.
I
Helping
will say
other
so.
people
The
is good.
reason the whole as like kind of a baseline over all these Beedle the Bard things, like, I mean, like, I've read them and like they're objectively funny, right? All of them
Yes.
are objectively funny, but like they don't like stick with me the same as like the rest of the kind of expanded knowledge base and things like that.
For
I
sure. This
really
is the-
like them though.
Yeah.
I think it's like just a way to show off her creativity of like just writing really dark, twisted, funny stories. Because I would assume, like, like the fairy tales that we know, like we know them because Disney made them, right? And what did Disney do? They Disneyfied them. Like the real fairy tales were often like much darker. Like
Right.
Little Mermaid dies,
I didn't know
because
that.
you're not supposed to.
Spoiler.
Yeah, like in the Hans Christian Andersen one, she dies, right? Hansel and Gretel like get eaten or something. Like they're dark and weird, right?
Right.
And like that's what she wrote, and they're dark and weird and funny. But like as a baseline, I don't feel like they don't, because it's not like real people in the real wizard world. It doesn't stick with me as much. Like, but
Fair.
it's just a excellent creative exercise. The best part about, by the way, I'll say it, the best part about the Tales of Beedle the Bard is Dumbledore's commentary. I think that's
Yes.
the best part. Is Dumbledore's commentary is the best part. Just because you're in the mind of a person we know who it is, and you get to read Dumbledore.
We love him.
Dumbledore's thoughts, and that's the whole best part. Without
And
of the books,
it is
not
and
the
his thoughts
stories
on this
themselves.
one.
The stories themselves are objectively weird and like that's weird and funny, whatever. But Dumbledore's the part that's fun to read for me.
I agree. Dumbledore's commentary on this one, which is pretty fascinating, is that how unbelievable it is. Like a miracle that this story survived all the way to this day because of how pro Muggle it is and how pro help your neighbor Muggle it is, where for hundreds of years it was nothing but hide from Muggles because they're going to hang you. And then I have a question for you, William. He comes up with three names for wizards who hang out with Muggles during the time during the 1600s. I don't know. They are Mud Wallower, Dung Licker, and Scum Sucker. And I was wondering which one you thought was the most offensive.
I think Dung Licker was the one that stood out to me. I was going to bring that
Pretty
up.
bad. Like, I know what dung is. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure I know what scum is. I mean, I know what scum is, but like it's kind of general. But all pretty bad.
I thought Dung Licker was the most explicitly like mean.
Pretty horrible.
Like it's Scum Sucker, Mud Wallover.
Oh yeah, it is Mud Wallover. I thought it was Mud Wallower. You're right. Did I spell that wrong? Maybe it is Wallower, and I copied it wrong. But anyways,
probably
all
is. I'm looking at our notes anyway, your notes anyway. But like the Dung Licker thing did remind me though of the fat kid in Stranger Things.
Derek the Delightful.
He's always telling people to eat. Yeah, Derek the Delightful. He's always telling people to eat something.
It's
Or
also telling them
lick
to
dung.
S something as well.
Yeah.
A fat one. You're right. That's what I got on The Wizard and the Hopping Pot. The Fountain of Fair Fortune. So in this one I feel like could be a Muggle story. Like this has the most comps I think to normal stories, where there's basically a magical fountain, and only once a year do like the gates open, and these three witches who are all having a really hard time are like, we'll all go together, and somehow they do make it to the front, and they accidentally pull this knight through with them, and then as they go on their trek to these magical fountain waters that will grant your every wish or whatever, they all kind of deal with their own troubles naturally and realize that they can solve their own problems, and their problems have gone away. And by the end, they do reach the water, and they do use the water. But by the end, none of them truly realize that the water actually does nothing, and they all just kind of solve their problems because they believe they could. And this one hit the mark, right? Where you don't, uh, you don't need some magical solution. You can solve your own problems and create your own luck. So I did like that one. My superlative for this one was the one I'd most likely share with my children, as there's a lot less like death and weird things happening in it.
Yeah, you're not like talking about a emotional terrorist pot that's assaulting someone,
Well said.
So
I did think though that they face a great worm in the middle of it, and one of the girls starts crying, and that's how they actually get past. And the giant worm, who they tried to kill for hours, just comes face to face with her and like sucks the tears off her face. That's actually kind of horrifying. Anyways,
what do you think? Do you think the point of this one is like it's not the destination, it's the journey?
Yes, that is definitely, if not primary, secondary. Again, what did I say? Like make your own luck, or create your own solutions. But yeah. Joys in the journey.
The joys
I
of
like
the
that.
journey. The friends we made along the way.
Beautiful. The Dumbledore commentary here is about how they used to have a Christmas pantomime, or basically a Christmas play that goes on every year, which is hilarious, very much worth reading. The hilarious part is Professor Kettleburn. He puts an engorgement charm on an ashwinder, which is a animal that really only lives for like an hour and then explodes into
Which is a
fire.
sick animal, by the way. We'll talk about that another time. But
fair. And sets the whole thing on fire. And also, this is literally out of Saved by the Bell, when they put on the play where they put on Snow White, except they wrap the whole thing, and like there's a whole thing where like Slater is like, does he like? I mean, he always kind of likes Kelly, but he's dating Jesse at the time, and then. But unfortunately, Zach and Jesse are the ones who have to kiss in the play, and they're worried they're going to like it, and they're all just fighting, and it's on stage, and that also happens where two girls just start dueling in the middle of the play as well, and it's pretty serious. But I have two questions for you, William. One is, why do that? I mean, I know why they don't do it at Hogwarts, because of how horrible it went right there, but like, I feel like Hogwarts during the Christmas holidays is a little bit boring. I feel like there's a lot of like yada, yada, yada. And then the holiday's over. And all we really got was like Harry played some chess and sat in the common room watching the Weasley twins do dumb stuff. I feel like they could really use like a 3-hour distraction of like a play, because I don't know, no TVs, no screens, no anything. Like Christmas at Hogwarts can't be that fun.
I mean, they play Exploding Snap, and
yeah, they have two games: chess and Exploding Snap,
and Gobstones.
That feels like the same game. I don't know the difference.
They read. Essentially,
Harry's not reading.
They read. He reads Flying with the Cannons for like the 100th time.
Quidditch through the ages, great.
I like this talk about, because like you think about, we're so spoiled. Like it's hard to like put ourselves back. I mean, we're 35. Like we got iPhones in our early 20s, and we've never looked back. Like
it is hard. It is hard.
We are not as, I guess, I feel like we're like the test generation. Although worse for people younger than us, because they had it since they were teenagers, which is way worse for you, right? But I think we've just forgotten, Scott, what it's like to be bored and not have constant entertainment at your fingertips.
But still, we grew up with like an N64 and Game Boys and TVs, though. Like,
we did. We had a lot. I just think, though, but like, I mean, like, I've thought about this, like, with like Do you ever like talk to your grandparents and ask them like, so like my grandparents, they're from like on my mom's side, they're from Texas, they're from Houston area. And I'm just like, or like the great grandparents, they're like, how did y'all live without AC? They're like, not well. You know?
Yeah.
Um, it's
Yeah.
just, and I just like think about like how did anyone exist in Houston before the advent of air conditioning, right? Like how did you survive? How are you not dead? Um, and so it's kind of like that. Like what you're right though. Like there would definitely be like more organized things. Like they need wizards need an indoor sport clearly, right? They need an
Yes.
indoor sport because flying through chilled air in Scotland in December sounds awful. Um,
Very manly.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of meat on that bone. Like you could like some kind of wizard version of basketball or like something to do besides like sitting in
Just
the
like
common room,
or like
you
a
know?
dueling club just all day. Like everyone's just actually trying to be better at Magic all the time, which doesn't really seem to be the case. They're just as lazy as we are at school, which is insane.
Right.
Um,
There's a
anyways,
lot there.
second question is Professor Kettleburn actually a worse teacher than Hagrid? Which I think objectively, Hagrid is a horrible teacher. He has so much great content that he could be giving his students, and he spends almost an entire year on flobberworms. Like and then he spends his second year on
Mhm.
glass-ended screws. Like he objectively sucks as a teacher. Seems like Kettleburn, who in Dumbledore's notes said he was put on probation like 60 times throughout his career at Hogwarts, might be a worse teacher.
I will say, um, the fact that there is probation, right? Like there's like some kind of like formal system and not just from like Umbridge, because they do mention it
Right,
like with Umbridge, right?
right,
Um,
right.
Professor Umbridge, like, you're on probation when Snape won't give her Veritaserum, you know? Um,
Yes.
but the fact that like Dumbledore could ever put someone on probation just doesn't like it's weird to read that because you're like, okay, but you like okay, you kept Trelawney around because you need to protect her, but she's an idiot. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
to be fair, he
yeah,
does say that he mellowed out by the time Dumbledore was headmaster, and it was really Dippet who suspended him like a million times. But that's
right.
fair.
Dumbledore is too much of a softie, I guess. But yeah, he might be worse. Like the problem with Hagrid is Hagrid knows more about animals than like literally anyone. So like it's there. But maybe like, by the time after Harry had left school, like Hagrid like figured it out, He's a late bloomer.
I hope so. He also didn't have
So, but
Dumbledore to
Kettleburn
watch his back. I don't know.
yeah, that's true. I would say yeah, Kettleburn is worse. I would say. So,
That
I
is
mean,
a tragedy. It is a tragedy that for basically 40 years, there's been no good Hogwarts Care of Magical Creatures teacher. That is
yeah,
it's a
who
shame.
wouldn't put up with that like Bahuta Koro. They would the
Got that
Japanese
right.
school would nip that
His
in the bud. They'd be
his
like,
his his white headmaster jacket would have sold him out a long time. The second he bought that dragon, he got sold out and he's going to jail.
dang right. Dang right.
Um, all right. Next is the Warlock's Hairy Heart,
The
which
darkest.
I'll skip to my superlative, which is the one most likely to give me a nightmare. Uh, in this one, there's a wizard who thinks all of his friends are being stupid falling in love, and he's like, I'm gonna make sure that never happens to me. And he also wants to live forever. So they just kind of throw that in there. So he cuts his heart out and stores it away safely. And then one day he hears servants making fun of him and is
Davy
like, hey,
Jones.
this exactly. This is not an original thought from JK. And so he's super rich and super happy in his own mind. If all his friends get married and do dumb stuff, and then one of his servants is like, "This guy's so rich and handsome, and he can't even get a wife." So he's like, "Oh, I can get a wife." So then he starts to woo this woman, and the woman can see that he has no heart. Like he says things, but there's just like death behind his eyes. Uh, and so he's like, "Oh, I have a heart." And then he goes and shows it to her. And she's like, "That's disgusting. Put it away." And then he puts it back in, and the heart has had grown strange, and its appetites had grown powerful and perverse. So then the heart takes control of this man's body, stabs her heart out, and then everyone finds him down there licking the heart while he's trying to fight control back over his body. We're gonna get kicked off of YouTube. And then he basically stabs himself and kills the heart and they're both just dead on the floor. So huge tragedy, pretty horrible stuff. I suppose there's a couple lessons here. And
Yeah, I think it's
Wiz-
like it's
Go.
like a cautionary tale of like not dealing with your emotions or love or like embracing like humanity, right?
I feel like that's the human, like Muggle lesson from that. Yes.
Right. But it's also basically like very much like Voldemort, you know, like
Exactly.
it's very
It
much
is
like
immortality.
Voldemort like eschews all like, you know, human contact. He doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about anyone. It's all about him. Um, and obviously he didn't rip his heart out, but he ripped his soul apart and put it into different places, you know?
Exactly.
So, you have to like embrace your faults and fear. It's like, I mean, there's something
have to
about
be
like,
able to
it's like
feel pain.
love and yeah, you have to be able to feel pain and like embrace love and embrace fear, you know? I don't know. It's dark.
It is very dark. Dumbledore calls out the Horcrux comp. He calls that out directly. He's like, clearly this is similar to a Horcrux. And I feel like you've had this take where, again, we're going to go Cursed Child is part 7 for those who are waiting. We're going to review Cursed Child as part 7 of this. And, you know, William has very long been standing on the hill of Voldemort would not procreate. Just lost that ability. And I feel like this story, gives a lot of credence to that, where it's like, again, his desires surely have changed. His appetites surely have changed. He has no need for that kind of physical, I don't know, like he is so far beyond that. He is immortal. Why does he need offspring? I don't know. I feel like, again,
I don't think he would embrace off. We'll save it for the pod.
I know. I think this
know.
supports you.
Yeah. I don't know how she came up with this insane story.
Like, it's scary and gross. Again, there are comps of this. There are comps of like people hiding their hearts away.
Right.
To your point, Davy Jones. There's some like
Jones.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
I feel like stuff in there. The biggest comp. She obviously copied this. The Wolverine came after. The Wolverine obviously copied this when Wolverine cuts his own heart out because it's infected. And I love that scene and I love that movie. And Hugh Jackman has never been hotter than in that movie. It's like his third best Wolverine movie, but so hot. That's what I got on the Warlock's hairy heart.
It was insane and twisted, and a great example of like the macabre, dark humor that she clearly has as an author. It's
Agreed.
insane. So
it's scary. I was glad it was only like 2 pages long. I was like, if this was longer, I'd be. I shouldn't be reading this like before bed. I'm not going to sleep well.
Babbitty Rabbitty and the Cackling Stump.
Back to children's tales.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a great name because it's the one that Ron mentions out loud. Babbitty Rabbitty. Come on.
Yes,
You've never heard of Babbitty Rabbitty? Oh, Ron. We're just Cinderella. What's that? An illness?
Ron is a moron. Babbitty Rabbitty. So basically this king is trying to like get rid of everyone who does magic so that he can own all the magic. And then he hires someone to be his court magician. And the guy is a charlatan. He's fake. He just breaks off a tree branch and was like, hey, we're doing magic together. Does a couple cheap tricks and then tries to teach him. And then Babbitty Rabbitty laughs at the king and the king gets mad. And he's like, all right, I'm doing magic tomorrow. And if I can't do it, you're dead, is what he says to his trainer, court magician. And then the court magician goes over to Babbitty Rabbitty and is like, hey, you're a real witch and you're going to make sure this magic works or I'm going to tell everyone that you're a witch and he's going to kill you. So then they start doing magic and the king is just picking random spells to do and she does them all. But then he's looking for what to do next and a soldier brings up a dead dog and he's like, hey, bring this dog back to life. And Babbitty cannot do that. And so then the king gets mad and the magician's like, it's her in the bush. She is the one who is making so that the spells aren't working. And then they chase her and she turns into a rabbit and they chase her and then she turns into a tree allegedly. And then they chop the tree down. And they're like, we got her. And then she's like, no, you didn't. Chopping someone in half doesn't do anything. Just go ahead and do it to the magician over there. And so they're very excited to go chop this man in two. And he's like, no, don't do it. I am not a magician. And then the king is like, okay, go to jail. And then he's like, Babbitty Rabbitty, what do we do? And she's like, make a statue of me and never cut this tree down, or never cut. Yeah, I don't know what she said. Never move the statue, or otherwise I'll curse you. And she lives happily ever after, I guess, as a rabbit tree thing. I don't know. That wasn't my best explanation, but the wizarding moral here is like you can't bring people back from the dead, which I didn't think was that cool. Yeah, my superlative here is the one where I'm most likely to miss the point, which is similar to my other superlative, but like I don't know. There's some wizard moral here. Is there like a good muggle moral here? I wasn't really sure.
I mean, it reminded me of like the Wizard of Oz, like wizard, you know.
But who's the Dorothy who like is the good person? Well, Dorothy's bad and wicked. I don't know. It depends how you think about it. Who's Alphaba in this?
Yeah, I don't know. I
I'm
mean,
just kidding.
I think it's just like about like, the the quiet, like someone who like people like using, like those in power using others to like prop themselves
Yeah.
up, like that. Like he doesn't have the power, but it doesn't matter as long as people think you do, right?
That's fair.
So that's the kind of thing I like, the ordinary person who's normal, but like it's propping up this system of, you know, that the person in power, you know, and like the
That's
the
fair.
fear of like the unknown driving your like restrictive policy and like taking over, like the fear of like magic, right? Meaning like I must control it, that kind of thing.
Also
So
true. I like that one.
which is
That's
also
the
like
only.
pretty like, why do people distrust anything of whether it's like other people of different cultures or whatever? It's fear of the unknown or difference or whatever. So I must control it and I don't know, deport
All fair.
everyone like our president does. Um, Whatever, you can cut that out. We don't need to get political.
I think she'll want to keep that in. I think she'll be good.
Yeah,
I like
that was my take on
I-
it. Like, it's weird. It's kind of one of the funnier ones, I think. Like, it's kind of insane.
It is funny. If I'm ranking this, I think this is last for me. Again, I feel like if the magical point of this is like you can't raise the dead, then I feel like we could have done this a whole lot differently.
Yeah,
Also,
I don't think that's
what
really the
Dumbledore
point
talks
of the
about.
story, though.
That's what he.
Like,
That's what Dumbledore tells us. Okay, this is what Dumbledore talks about.
I know, but like, doesn't the tale of the three brothers tell that way better?
That's what I'm saying. Why does this? This is last place.
Yeah,
That one's about immortality. I mean, which is also the same as the Warlock's Harry Heart. I don't know. They're all overlapping.
I mean, yeah, that's a constant. I mean, you would think though, in a world where like magic extends the power of what you can do is just massive, right?
Right.
Like people would have god complexes quite a bit. I mean,
Yes.
we already do.
Which,
We live in a world without magic, allegedly. So,
okay, that was the most interesting.
So those
thing
are lessons that people. Let's see. What was your question?
That to me was the most interesting thing that Dumbledore said, where he's like, every child goes through this, where it's like we all go to our parents with a dead pet, and we're like, bring him back, because our parents can do anything. They are magical. They summon everything from anywhere, and every child has to learn that. That is a thought that I have never had before. To your point, like the God complex in ourselves, but like the child hero complex of a parent is 10 times, I guess, in a wizarding world. I don't know. I thought that was fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just like with like Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility. So like everything's magnified when you can think about how much it would drive you insane. Like if you can do all this crazy stuff, but you can't raise the dead, right?
Just like Rand, Wheel of Time.
Dead air.
How about I watched Across the Spider-Verse this weekend, and is it
That
like
was one of the
top
best
10
movies
movie?
ever. Oh my gosh.
Is it a top 10 movie of all time? I was just rethinking my list, and I was like, should this be on there?
Number one, the first one is like incredible, Into the
It
Spider-Verse.
is.
And I remember when the second one came out, like the Midnight Boys were like, oh, it's not as good. Be like, well, okay, it's not the first one. Like it doesn't introduce you to the world, but it's better.
I thought it was better. I thought it was
it's better. Just it expands the universe. Like there's just more happening. So like, I don't know, like it like if you're ranking like is it super more important as a piece of art? I don't know, maybe not, but like I liked it better. Regardless, it's my 10-year-old's favorite movie in the whole world. It's Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm so jealous. My kids are like, they like it, but I don't know. Your 10-year-old's very smart.
Spider-Gwen's like the main character.
I know. They should, but it's also a little bit confusing for a 5-year-old. So,
very much so. Yeah. But also, the music is freaking incredible. Self-love. You don't love himself.
It's hilarious. The action is amazing. I had a third point, but the movie's amazing.
I don't know. What was the point of bringing up Spider-Verse though for this?
Because you said Ben Parker, so I just changed the subject after you gave me dead air because you won't read real books. Anyways,
I have a lot of lists of books if you want to. They're in your audiobooks.
You won't read real fantasy books. You won't read real fantasy books.
I've read Lord of the Rings. That's as real as it gets.
That is the OG, and there are 10,000 novels written off of that, which are also pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Other thoughts I had is Dumbledore talks about something I haven't really thought of. Two things. One, he talked about how animagi weren't that prevalent and back in the day, and he's like, it has limited uses, and that's why they make you register. But
like you learn how hard it is and dangerous it is later on.
You do learn how hard it is, but like in the 15th century, when all you're trying to do is hide from muggles all the time, like wouldn't you just like spend all of your time? Like 8-year-olds should be animagi. Like they'll just turn into a squirrel and run away. Like I feel like they should have been using that way more back then when you didn't have to register. Like, and you could actually use it to get away from all these horrible muggles.
Right. Yeah. But it would be like once you learn how complicated and difficult it is and dangerous, you would never subject an 8-year-old to that.
Whatever. Just stick some stuff in your mouth for 30 days and I don't know. It's like not that
But
hard. Okay.
Also, if you were like powerful enough wizard, turn your own children.
So, okay. This is the second part. Thank you. So he says that human to animal transfiguration, you turned into the animal. That's exactly what he says. He's like, you do not remember being a wizard. You cannot perform magic when you do this. So you turned your child into a rabbit. That's a rabbit. And if you lose that rabbit, it's not going to know you. It's not going to come back to you. It's just a scared little rabbit, which I just read this with my kids. Malfoy turns into a ferret. He's just a ferret. He's not Malfoy anymore. He's just a scared, tiny little ferret who like has no idea what's happening. That is horrifying.
Yeah, he's in there somewhere, but like in some kind of container where it's like not accessible, right? Like because you can turn him back and he's back, but that is nuts. That's actually a really cool. That's why I said the Dumbledore stuff is the best part of this whole thing, because you learn something like that, like, and it's different from being an animagus, right? Where you do maintain your self as an animagus because you went through like the whole process. But like, yeah, if it would like if you turned your kid into a squirrel, they would just be like, all right, where's the acorns? That's all.
Exactly. That's scary. It's like Animorphs when
and then you're like,
animal takes over.
Which one of these squirrels is my kid?
Exactly. Could you turn any squirrel back into your kid? I guess you would try and nothing would happen if it wasn't your kid.
That's right. You'd have to like Immobilis all the squirrels and see. Magic has infinite solutions.
My last take on this,
infinite problems.
My last take on this, to your point on infinite solutions, is she should have necromancy that dog and just like propped it up and like made it in Inferi for like a couple hours, and then it would have been fine. That's what Babbitty Rabbitty should have done.
That's dark magic, though.
Yeah. Then she threatens to use the Cruciatus curse on the king, is basically what Dumbledore says.
Like, yeah, that kind of falls apart, though, because like even a hero of the whole novel uses Cruciatus Curse and the Imperious Curse. So
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Life in Azkaban. So, all right.
which
The
that
last
is
one's
like such a toothless thing. That
because the entire
wizards make
wizarding
no
world
sense.
has used it.
They make no sense. Like they won't do the death penalty, but they'll lock you up forever for like taking over someone's mind. Like
Well,
again, bad crime. Life in prison? I don't know.
you picked the Imperious Curse. Like, I feel like the Cruciatus Curse is the least bad of the three.
Yeah, but there's degrees of this, right? Like there's only the Cruciatus Curse, no matter what, does one thing, right? And I guess it'll vary on how powerful you are and how much it hurts, right? But it does
How much
one
hate
thing.
you have.
The Imperious Curse at least has like, you could use it to do good. It's not an appropriate thing. Harry does. Like he uses it for the greater good, right?
He uses it for his own gains.
That's
nothing
BS.
else.
Yeah, he doesn't use it for his own gains, nothing else. Again, I'm not saying that like justifies it. Although I think it does justify it in Harry's case. But that's like there is something like horrible about the Imperious Curse and like basically taking over someone's mind and getting and hijacking them, you know. But
is it
theoretically it has like if you did that and then like you just did something good, like you were like, I Imperious my child so they would actually study and they would stop annoying me.
No.
Definitely horrible. Bad
this is our
do.
second Satan comp of the pod. There's no good in that.
What's the name of? Is it Iluvatar? Is that no? That's like the god of Lord of the Rings or whatever. What's the Sauron's name? The name he does when he's presenting
Celebrimbor.
himself. Yeah, he's working with Celebrimbor. But what's the name he's using?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
He's just sowing discontent.
Yes. Like, can you have that? Like,
also,
Kilgrave.
Regardless, the Cruciatus Curse should not be life in prison either. By the way, I'm just saying, like, you could use the Imperious Curse to have someone go murder someone, or you could use it to tell them to hop on a desk. Like, the Cruciatus Curse only does one thing. It only tortures people, period.
Can you accidentally, like, okay, life, you're right. Life is too long.
So the punishment for, like, I use the Cruciatus Curse to murder my enemy. I use the Imperious Curse to have someone else murder my enemy and frame them or something, right? Or I use the Imperious Curse to, you know, steal a book from the store. Just because you used it, like, way different crimes, different degrees.
I have a question. Could, like, Kilgrave, who we both agree is an amazing bad guy who basically...
The worst person in all of Marvel.
Yes.
By far.
Okay, but... So he speaks and people have to obey. He, like, has a poison that comes out of his mouth and it makes people obey him. So he's born, I don't know, with that gift. He's a mutant. I don't know how he gets that gift. But anyways, can you have that gift and be good? Like, if he goes to, like, the X-Men and it's like, hey, I have this gift. Does Xavier just, like, kill him? Like, can he possibly turn out good? Like, is there any way that he turns out good?
One, Xavier would not kill him. No.
Luke Skywalker would kill him. He shows up to the Jedi Temple. He's like, hey, when I speak, people obey. Luke just slices his head off.
No, he wouldn't do that either. That's a good question.
This happens, again, this happens in Fourth Wing. Like, there are these people who have these abilities. Like, they all get abilities after they get with dragons, and no one knows what their ability is going to be. And the people who can read people's minds are just instantly killed. They are automatically killed, no matter what. Like, it's revealed you can read minds, you're dead. It's over.
Yeah, that's why being Charles Xavier would be hell on earth.
Yes. I'm just saying,
it would be.
I don't think there's any world where Kilgrave becomes good. I don't think it's possible to have that ability.
Probably not. He even like, I mean, I don't know how you could like.
Which is why like, the Imperious Curse is life and
you'd have to be the nicest, best person in the world to not ever use that.
Well, the thing is, he can't help it. He speaks, and it happens. Like, he would have to just not... He'd have to kill himself. Like, he can't talk. Like, he'd have to become a mute, and I don't know, like...
Yeah, if you just, like, you're just like, oh, shut up, you're ridiculous. Like, you would be... Scott, you would immediately be like, Maybe not through a Zoom. Kilgrave can't do that, but you know,
True.
but you'd be like,
Okay. Okay. That's enough tangents. Tale of the Three Brothers.
This one's really
Tale of
easy.
Everyone knows the story.
We're
I'm
all
not going to
familiar.
describe this. Yeah, there's three brothers. They create three objects. Allegedly, did death do it? We've already talked about that. William brought to us that death
Why not?
may exist, probably exists, but despite Dumbledore saying probably it was three genius brothers. I don't know. He said probably. He doesn't know. I have a couple things here. Dumbledore said that this quickly became his favorite, bedtime story, which that's my superlative. The one most likely to be every kid's favorite, except Aberforth, who wanted Grumble the Grubby Goat. Do you think we ever get Grumble the Grubby Goat as a story from J.K. Rowling?
I think she's done with stuff
I
like
think
that.
she is too, sadly.
I think she's done. She's got other interests now.
I thought it was kind of interesting that they talk about the Elder Wand in Magic Most Evil, which is a book that Hermione uses to try to find out about Horcruxes. I wonder if she read about the Elder Wand at all in there. Thought that was interesting, since she has to read the whole book to do anything because there's no control find because wizards are stupid. And the last thing I really liked was like J.K. Rowling at the beginning is like, Dumbledore lies in this book intentionally, and I think we can forgive him. But so he says a lot of, he says that he doesn't believe in the Hallows and like this is ridiculous. But then he really lays it all bare at the end, and I thought it was really good where he lies again for a lot of it, but then he's like, who would not lust for the power of the Elder Wand? Who could withstand the temptation to see a loved one, and who and who would not be so foolish to say the invisibility cloak is the least useful one? And he's literally just describing his own interactions with all of the Hallows, and I thought that was really cool.
It was cool. Again, the best part of it. I mean, like, obviously the lessons on this one are like pretty in your face. This is like by far the easiest, like, one to grasp as far as the content goes. So,
Agreed.
but I remember it is like reading it for the first time in the book when they're visiting Xenophilius Lovegood. I remember like it being like, this is really cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, just the fact that like they talk about, fairy tales being a wizard thing and a thing that we have, they're different. Harry and Hermione do different ones and things like that. And having it that introduce these objects in a fairy tale. But I also think it's cool because like in the wizard world, like the fairy tales at least could be true. Like some of them are or could be. Like I said, maybe like the hopping pot wasn't like objectively true. It was like something different. But like, they can base them on more on real experiences. So like, Zeus doesn't actually exist or have lightning bolts, but there is an Elder Wand, So like this myths and stories like being real, quote, in their world is a very cool thing that we don't have in the same way.
Well, that's what Dumbledore brings up. He's like, the whole point of this is don't seek after immortality, like, embrace death.
Right.
And the story does the exact opposite. It inspires everyone to go become the conqueror of death by getting the 3 Deathly Hallows. Not everyone, but some.
Right.
I don't know.
What did you think of the part where the little subnote about no witch has ever claimed the Elder Wand? Do with that what you will.
That was well said. Even though the last known wielder of the Elder Wand was his own mother claimed to have murdered him. So I don't know. Yeah. She didn't claim to have the Elder Wand, but she did claim to kill her own son. So
pretty bad.
That was good. I still think that the Elder Wand is what I would choose if I could only have one. And just like Ron said, I wouldn't go shouting about it. Okay, I could do it. Call me a liar.
Yeah. I will say we were watching Percy Jackson with our kids, and there's an invisibility hat. And it reminded me of the cloak. And
Naturally.
but it's just a hat, and it only goes on one person. And I was like, well, the real magic. They're like, well, that would be better than a cloak because you can like move around. And I think I said that, and then I was like, actually, the cloak, the real magic is that it protects others as well as yourself. So once again, Harry Potter much better than Percy Jackson.
You could put the hat on Ariana, but you're right. Harry couldn't have protected Harry, or Harry couldn't have protected Ron and Hermione at the same time.
Yeah. But
Well
Percy
said.
Jackson is great. Our kids very much enjoy it. The show's fun for them.
Have they read the books?
Yeah. Almost all of them. Not all of them yet, but like they've read books. I haven't read the books. They're too
fantasy for William.
No, that's not remotely it. They're too They're too kiddish.
Right.
And I didn't read them when I was a kid because they weren't invented yet when I was the right age. So, I mean, he literally called the place Camp Half-Blood. Like, I definitely think he had some input from Harry Potter, which is totally fine. That's like the history of literature is people just, it's all, shared.
The One Ring is a Horcrux,
Yeah.
And the Bible started it all. Okay.
6,000 years ago.
That is our Tales of Beedle the Bard. But now we have some extras from Pottermore. I'm excited for these. We're going to start with some stuff about wands, which I don't really care about. And then we're going to get to ghosts, and I'm going to ask all the questions I've been wanting to ask you for several months. The first little short we read was about Mr. Ollivander. He's a weird guy, and he cares about wands, and that's cool. I thought it was interesting that he kind of helped get rid of the practice. It used to be like, hey, like this Floor's the best example in the actual 7 books. Floor had a hair from her grandmother, and that's what they put into the wood. And that's
from
what
her
it used to be.
grandmother.
Yeah, my bad. Where I thought it was like, oh, that's a normal like thing. Her grandmother probably provides lots of hairs. Like, no, that was like, it's like a family
or something,
heirloom, and you put it in your favorite wood, and that's how you make a wand. It's like, well, this Kelpie, rescued my dad once, and so we took a hair from it, and that's what I want my wand out of. And Ollivander's like, no, these things suck, and we're gonna have 3 things.
Substandard, subpar.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Because he's like, he's a disruptor.
Yes,
he basically ran other wand makers in Britain out of business. Like there wasn't other ones to speak of.
It's pretty awesome.
So
the next one is on wand lengths and flexibility. I actually have nothing to talk about here, but William, I do have a ultimate Harry Potter trivia question, which is sponsor of this podcast. Here we go. It's a level 7. There it is. I don't have my box. I'm a loser. You have one unwrapped. Who's that for?
To be determined.
Good call. When someone deems themselves worthy, they will get it. William, this is a tough question. Name 13 adjectives Ollivander used to describe a wand.
Pliable, swishy, whippy, quite whippy. That's what he says. Quite whippy.
Yes, that's 3.
Quite rigid.
Yes.
Unyielding.
Yes.
Springy.
Yes.
Brittle. That's what he describes Peter Pettigrew's wand, I think, as brittle.
That's the last description we have is brittle. Yes.
He is brittle. Inflexible, supple.
There's nice and supple. Yeah, and nice and flexible. Yes.
How many have I even said? I've been like throwing some out.
8 out of 13.
8 out of 13?
9 out of 13. Maybe 9.
Or 9. Did I say rigid, springy?
Yes. Here, I think you did amazing.
Well, there's one. He says springy multiple times. Yeah,
yes,
like
there's 2 springies.
Like reasonably and surprisingly, or
close.
pleasantly.
Yes, pleasantly
Is
and
that it?
reasonably.
Okay.
Yes.
Pleasantly and reasonably.
I think
Rather
there's only
bendy.
2.
Did I say
Rather
rather bendy
bendy?
yet?
Yes.
Rather bendy.
And I think there's only
Um,
one more. I don't think you said it.
uh, pliable. Did I say that?
Pliable is on here. I don't know if you said it, but it is number 2. It's as he's describing wands for Harry.
He describes one
They're
as powerful. He uses the word powerful.
powerful. Very powerful. Well done.
Yeah.
You never cease to amaze. We both need to get on Instagram more because there are people who are just commenting on every single one of Hunter's videos being like, William is like should be in a museum. And I'm just going on and trying to make fun of you, but I haven't even seen him enough. And I need to go back and go through all of his videos and make fun of you. But you have
Please
a
do.
you have a very small following of like 2 to 3 people who comment on every single one being like, who is this William?
Everyone's obsessed with me. That's what I'm hearing.
All right. That's what I got on wand lengths and flexibility. I don't like it's
Okay.
there's a description.
When I read these things for the first time, however many years ago, it's just fascinating. This is the stuff I really like. Like, it's just like, number one, his adjectives for wands are like meaningless. They're like, what does whippy mean? Like, it only means something to him. It means literally nothing to anyone else in the world except brittle, I guess, means something, right? Like, it's brittle. But like springy, like, no, it's a piece of wood. Like and it's a short piece of wood. It can't be springy. Like it's whippy. What do you mean whippy? Like what does this mean? It means literally nothing except this one weirdo who does wands. That's what I think, at least.
The next one we have is wand woods in the same nature. I'm not going to ask you name 17 types of wand wood, but if I wanted to, that is another level 7 question from the much needed book only ultimate unofficial Harry Potter trivia.
Blackthorn. No,
Stop it. I said no. There's many more than that.
Wasn't it so cool though? Like they gave background, like Blackthorn is like one that let me pull it up.
Yes. Please do, because I'm glad you're doing this because I read through this and
the
I got bored.
Blackthorn can it's unusual. Okay, here it is. Has a reputation, well merited, best suited to a warrior. And the Blackthorn wand become loyal and faithful. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the one I was thinking of that had like a weird. I don't know. They just kind of like validate like traits of characters and things like that,
right?
With the wand.
They did. Holly, super powerful. I mean, you often towards the dark arts. Yeah, they did. I went through and I started to like write down like apple wood, often associated with the gift of tongues. I started going through and writing all the cool things I thought. And then I scrolled down and I was like, this is so long. I'm not going to read all of this. And I skipped this homework assignment. So I'm disappointed in myself, but you coming on being like, this is so exciting, I think it makes up for it. So I think it's fine.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, it was just cool. They like used it to like validate character stuff. And it made you think like, what kind of wand would you want or have? We can save that for another time.
Exactly.
We can do a design your own wand. Come back and say, this is what I designed.
I like that. So I scrolled to the bottom and U is at the bottom and it says that U typically when it's buried with the wizard, it sprouts a tree that protects like the wizard. And what do you think they did with Voldemort's body and with his original U wand?
Well, I mean, they laid him in a dungeon or whatever off the hall.
Yeah,
right? They put his
temporarily.
body.
And then what?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like when they killed bin Laden, they did like something where they dumped him in the ocean according to some Islamic tradition, right? I don't know. Voldemort, I would hope they cremate him like they did.
That's what I was saying. Did they just like fiend fire him in a room and shut the door?
Yeah, they just cremate him.
Where's his wand?
Cremate him.
Where's his wand during the Battle of Hogwarts? Like he has his wand, then he goes up to Dumbledore, or does he have Malfoy's wand at that point?
In his pocket. He has
It's
that
in
as a
his
backup
pocket.
probably in his pocket, you would think.
That's a good point. That's a good
Or
point.
some
I
kinda,
like
like,
that.
pocket dimension that's cooler than a pocket that he created,
You love talking
you
about
know?
pocket dimensions, which that is what's happening
It's
in
kinda what
Harry
the room
Potter
requirement
sometimes.
is.
Yes. Yes, it is. I had one more question on wands. So like Ollivander's got like all these things of like these wands favor these type of wizards, and these are what's going to happen like over time with a wand. Is he like keeping tabs on everybody? Is he like, hey, have you found yourself, inclined to the dark arts? Has your like, how does he know all these things? He sells the wand, and then he's got to just get so much knowledge back from all these people.
I haven't thought about that. Junk science. He's into junk science. He's like the equivalent of like what do they call it? Like not like where you can sell vitamins that are like AG1 or whatever, which if they were sponsor us, I will definitely take the bag. But and promote whatever junk science they want. But it's like junk science. So he's like, you know, like takes the kernel of truth and just blasts it out way too far,
Yes,
you
it's
know?
definitely what's happening.
So like he is doing talking in broad strokes and he's couching it and like that. But like this is his life and this is all he cares about. So that's what he does. Like he's just obsessed with this thing. So he's just like this is his life's work and he's like, well, I knew a guy who was a wimp later in life and like I've now associated that. I've noticed this trend, right? But I think people are too complex to like really draw like that much stuff. So like yeah, there's like little bits of grains of truth. Just like people who sell like fake supplements or something and like, yeah, vitamins are great for you.
Deer
Are they
antler
that good
spray.
for you? you know? Um, you know, like stuff like that, like, junk science. That's what he's into. Like
I
he would
like that.
definitely he's definitely like he would definitely buy into the electrical substation that's been popping Achilles on the 49ers, you know,
That
that kind of thing.
that guy went on Pardon My Take, and he gave no vote of confidence to me in anything that he
No,
said. I
I
was like,
listened to it too and I was like, I think this
"Oh,
guy's an idiot and I have no use for him. I was like, I'm
this
not
guy."
listening to this.
I was like, "You should not get on any interviews if you want people to believe this is possible. You should run away
Yeah.
and let this fire go by itself. You're gonna douse it."
Yeah. I was thinking it reminded me of I remember the word wellness, right? So like, y- like the wellness industry is bigger than like pharmaceuticals, right? Because you could literally package anything and be like, it's all basically just a multivitamin, but people will believe it's going to heal them, right?
Lavender
You
oil
know,
can do miracles.
right? To each their own. But essentially, that's what I was thinking of. Like, he's really into junk science. Like, he's like not uh analytical, right, let's say.
He
Runs off
extrapolates.
vibes,
I
you
like
know.
that. Our final thing about wands from Pottermore or HarryPotter.com is the wand cores, which again we learned quite a bit about in the 7 books. I just did a quick ranking where I feel like Phoenix is definitely number one. It's the perfect speed of um, uh, well
And it's the most
I
rare. So
yes, it's the most rare.
I feel like if you're unicorn, you're just a basic B.
Yeah, Unicorn, that's exactly like I compared these. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart World. I got a Switch 2 this weekend, and I compared them all to like the carts that you can get. Like a Phoenix is like that random cart that you find where it's like it has a perfect blend of speed, acceleration, and handling, and you just dominate with that. And everyone's like, "Why do you pick that cart?" And you're like, "Because I'm a genius, and you suck at this game."
Rob
Uh,
Hog, Goomba.
I've been looking at the Rob Hog. I've been looking at that.
Also, the thing about Mario Kart is the hitbox a lot smaller. On the small things, small characters, your hitbox is literally smaller, so it's harder to get hit by items.
I mean,
Also, the
I,
coin curve. Oh, I got to tell you about the coin curve, dude. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Coin
number
curve.
two Number 2 is Dragon.
Yeah.
It's like being a huge character and like you get in a truck and you're just so fast. Yeah, your handling is a little rough, but your top speed is massive. And then
Yeah.
yeah, the unicorn. You already said it's the standard Mario Kart that you start with, and dumb people just stick with it because they don't know how to move around and actually look at the stats of a car. And it's like yeah, it's basic B as you said.
Mm. Basic.
What
Yeah, basic.
Well said. Well said. William, we're at an hour and 20. We've already pushed Ghost once. Do we push it again? I'm leaning towards yes, but
I think so. I think so. Ghost deserves its own thing. We don't want to run out of
we could accidentally make it its
steam.
own podcast. I don't know. It could be its own episode. I don't know. I have
We
a lot
could
of questions.
broaden it to like death in general in the wizarding world and do ghosts and death.
We're just death in general. We could go through Plan of Salvation and through lots of other things. Could be good. Okay, then we're gonna punt yet again on ghosts. Sorry for all the listeners who are just begging us to talk about ghosts. So
they're
have to wait one more week, at least.
Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody.
But we're not going to leave you here. I do have a Fred versus George. And
ooh, Fred versus George. All right, here's the deal. I want to do something new this week for that.
What do you think? Who makes the rules here?
Who makes the rules? You make the rules, but I'm going to suggest
so what do you?
I want a 15-second, 10-second timer.
Okay.
I want to go off I want to be like,
it's the gut.
Yeah,
your gut's
I want to
been right every time. The one time you were wrong is when you took too long. No, you took too long.
It's true because this is the sample size we have of this is sometimes I have literally guessed because I do it's an educated guess, but I'm not certain, right? If you ask me what's the incantation for the dark mark, I know that done. I'm certain. I am not certain of these answers, but I want to do 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever. That's all.
Okay. This one, I really wanted to do it. It's not like a defining Fred and George moment, but I think it's very funny. So we kind of left off on the second book. The last thing we did was George dropped a bunch of books on Fred's head. At least I think that's what it was. Who knows? You're the only one who's supposed to know these things. This is the next time we see Fred and George. And this is when Percy comes up to Harry and is like, Harry's like, it's like being introduced to the mayor. He's like, Harry, good to see you. And
absolutely spiffing, dear boy.
Yes. Then we have some hilarious quote. So we have some hilarious quotes from Fred and George. I'm going to pick just one of the twins and do just their quote. So it's going to be multiple quotes from one twin. And I'm going to kind of skip what the other twin is doing and just do the one. Does that make sense? Does that feel good?
So you're just going to skip through a conversation where it's Fred says this, George says that. Fred says this, George says that. You're skipping over one of them and just doing one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely. Here we go.
All right, let's do
Hello, Percy, said Harry, trying not to laugh. I hope you're well, said Percy pompously, shaking hands. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Harry, said Blank, elbowing Percy out of the way and bowing deeply. Simply splendid to see you, old boy. Skipping, Percy scowled. That's enough, said Mrs. Weasley. Mom, said Blank, as though he'd just spotted her, seizing her hand. How really corking to see you. I said that's enough. Second head boy in the family. Blah, 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 blah. Second head boy in the family, she said, swelling with pride. And last, Blank muttered under his breath. I don't doubt that. I noticed I haven't made you two prefects. And that's it. There's the other twin says some funny things, but it just focused on the one. Who you got? So he's the first one who kind of gets in the way and says it, and then is the one who goes up to Molly. Those are the two key points.
I'm running out of time. My first thought's Fred. I'm sticking with Fred. I think in general, I always feel like Fred says things first, George goes next. And I think you were starting at the beginning of the scene, so I'm going with Fred.
Fred is correct. This is what I really want to get to the bottom of is one twin funnier than the other? Is Fred the leader of the twins? I don't know the answer. You just kind of hinted
twin
at
takes because I have twins.
Is there a leader among them? Are they perfect partners in crime? I mean, I don't think there's a leader.
They have different personalities. They're very identical. Unless we dress them in red and blue and green, nobody can tell them apart. We can. I can. But their brothers can and my wife can. But no, the twin thing, I don't think one's funnier than the other. I think she gives them all equal thing. At least I never felt like one was the funnier one or the leader of them. Although I guess who was writing the letter to Bagman? Is that the Alpha, the one with the quill? It's kind of holding the remote.
I wonder if they change. I wonder if they they go back and forth because they write multiple letters. I don't know. I just
I'll
read that
tell you
to
what.
the
If you
girls.
ask this enough people, I bet they would all say Fred. Just his name comes first. They say Fred
I
and
know.
George, not George and Fred.
And R.I.P. He's dead. So like,
Right, yeah, Fred dead. I also alternate the order of which I say my twins' names because I don't want
smart.
them. I'll say that one, that one, that one, that one. I'll just change it around.
That's a good point.
Also,
it is Fred and George. That's such a good point.
Their birth certificates say like one was born a minute or 2 minutes before the other. That's BS. I was there. I watched it happen. It was not that far apart.
Seconds.
Yeah, we're talking like no, this is nonsense. Nonsense.
I don't know. Someone commented on one of our Fred versus Georges, and someone was just like fully confident in their take of like, I think it was Fred, but I actually can't remember who they said. But they were like, and that's why Fred is so much funnier than George. And like, they were just so confident that like one is way better than the other. And I was like, I'll do a deep dive, but I have no take on this, and I'll get to the bottom of it.
They're trying too hard. They're le echan mucha crema a sus tacos. No, they're putting too much cream on the
Exactly.
tacos.
Hopefully we have
No,
some Spanish speakers.
probably not. But that was the first thing. One of the first things I learned in Spanish was that, and I don't know if it actually is ever used, but my companion said it. Sanchez. Yeah. Hey, Fred, I got it right. So I'm like missed one so far. But that's my new rule for the Fred and George ones. I got to go quick. I can't hem and haw. I got to go quick.
You're at 93%. You're at 13 out of 14. So
that's pretty good.
It's pretty amazing. That's definitely higher than the 50-50 chance you have on each one.
Small sample size still.
For now. Next week, again, we'll be hitting the daily life in the wizarding world and magic and spells, which covers a large host of essays that we're going to read. William, I'm doing a count right now just to prepare you. Make sure you're ready. It's actually not that many. There's only 13 essays we'll be reading, and maybe we'll also hit ghosts and peeves during this as well.
Who's to say?
I feel like
who's to
say? Only time will tell. All right. I guess next time we'll probably be on with the Kelsey brothers, so everyone should be excited for that, and look forward to next week.
Tell your friends. That's what's happening. It's definitely happening next week. Peace.
Deuces.